for now, but I have only reason. Keep you closer to my door when the sun goes down.
Wait, what school is this? I don't know what school this is. Not worn it the first 2 meets. I was like, I guess I would have finished.
I was real happy when you said it.
Thank you, appreciate you.
And now, Let's meet your Simpson women's gymnastics team. All freshmen from Whitewater, Ohio, Olivia Hedary. From Rocky, Iowa, Rachel Wolf. April Preston. Let's see. From Indianapolis, Indiana, Olivia Short. From Nashua, New Hampshire, Nicola Hedgebull. Alexa Denton. From Crawfordsville, Indiana, Abby Lane. From Wheatfield, Indiana, Maddie Vanderheer. From Riverside, California, Haley Payne. From Winterset, Iowa, Brady Cason. From Orangedale, Iowa, Liz Sisler. From Lake Mary, Florida, Emmie Barton. From Naperville, Illinois, Bella Dix. Cole. From Norman, Oklahoma, Brooklyn Morgan. From Grand Rapids, Michigan, Kendall Pinkelman. From Dallas, Texas, Olivia Hedary. From Grant Pass, Oregon, Kaelyn Tally. Annie Angus. From Ashland, Nebraska, Emma Charles. From Norman, Oklahoma, Winter Hula. From Sand Springs, Oklahoma, Emma Tolbert. From Cicero, New York, Kaylee Frisco. From Houston, Texas, Rebecca Holloway. From Denver, Colorado, Evalyn Resnick. From Hanover, Connecticut, Sydney Millette. From the Colony, Texas, Aaron Bond. From Linnea, Ohio, Bailey Tessina. From Omaha, Nebraska, Izzy Brown. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask you to please rise if you're able, remove your hats for the playing of the American National Anthem.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Fiterman Training Center here in Indianola, Iowa, where your Simpson Storm will be taking on the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire Blugolds. I'm your host, Kelsey Boychuk, joining the lovely Natalie Horowitz. Hi, Nat.
Hey, Kelsey. Excited for today?
And we are both so excited for this fun afternoon of gymnastics. Taking a look at your Simpson Storm, they are coached by head coach Emmie Barton in her 4th season. She has done a tremendous job building this team, helping build their culture, and taking care of these athletes in and out of the gym. She is assisted by Coach Kelsey Kokan. Your Simpson Storm is coming off of a season-high 190.625, which is also a program record, so definitely looking forward to the energy and the gymnastics that they're going to bring today.
The Blugolds are coached by Coach Jessie Dizelle, who has an incredible resume. She was an assistant coach at Ball State, University of Illinois, and she was a gymnast at Nebraska, where she had a bunch of standout career highs, and she even competed internationally at the Pan American Games. She's led the Blugolds. This is her 5th season, and she's supported by Coach Will Gomez, Victoria Hikes, and Tia Rivara. They are also coming off of a season-high 189.525, so they're excited for today with an average of a 188.8.1. So, looking forward to today's competition.
In our first rotation here, the Simpson Storm is going to be starting on the vault, and the Eau Claire Blugolds are going to be starting on the bars.
Kelsey, what do we want to look for today when we're watching vault?
As you're watching vault today, we're going to want to look for distance from the table, height off the table, some big vaults, and then just a stuck or clean landing from these girls.
When you're watching these bar routines today, we want to see if they can build those start values to a 10.0. To get there, they want to have some difficulty in those routines, whether that's a single bar release or a bar-to-bar release. We want to see a lot of handstands and very clean landings on those dismounts. With those release moves and dismounts, one thing to emphasize is amplitude.
Simpson is also recognizing their seniors this meet. This is their first full graduating class of seniors, so definitely an exciting meet for them. I know it's important for them to have their families there and just have everybody there celebrating their accomplishments as they continue on this season.
In these bar routines, a goal for the Blugolds is to be hitting routines. All day we want to see a bunch of hit routines. 24 for 24 is the goal, but once again, you only need to count 5 of your 6 competitors. So we'll look for a lot of hits from the Blugolds. Hopefully they can ride their momentum of a season high last week, and we'll see something new today.
It's like our first 4-minute touch is underway. These athletes have already warmed up on every event. If you're new to the sport, they get 15 minutes per event before their touch warm-up just to make sure that they're good to go. Nat, what is the importance of these touch warm-ups for these athletes?
Yeah, so they do get those 15 minutes, but they've gotten to this arena hours ago. Those 15 minutes probably felt like they happened yesterday. So these 4 minutes, it's not a ton of time, but it is time to just touch that equipment, warm up your bodies, maybe iron out any kinks you had in your first long warm-up. So we'll see a couple of them maybe doing some watered-down vaults, or a couple people on bars not really doing those full routines, but making sure that they can get ready for this competition.
You are going to see some strong routines from both teams today. As I mentioned before, it is Simpson's senior night, so they are looking to put in as many seniors in their lineups as possible while still maximizing their score potential, especially coming off of that season high. They're going to want to keep building on that momentum that they have going.
in this first rotation, the Blugolds seem to have struggled a little bit with bars this season. They have a ton of great events, but bars is where they've been seeing the least consistency. So with that goal being hit routines, we're going to hope to see maybe some new people in lineups, maybe if some lineup changes, whether that's order, whether that's individuals. But regardless, the goal for the day when they get on bars is hitting those routines. I've seen in this warm-up so far, they've been catching their releases and their dismounts look pretty clean. We just saw a beautiful Jaeger right into an overshoot. So it looks like they have some good energy going on today and looking like a lot of confidence over there.
We are going to be seeing 2 exhibition routines on the vault for Simpson. These exhibition routines are going to be on all 4 events for them, as they are trying to get their seniors that practice and that experience in. Nat, can you talk a little bit about the importance of these exhibition routines that we're going to be seeing?
Yeah, it's really important. In senior night, aside from regular meets throughout the season, senior night is a good opportunity for those individuals, if they are seniors, to show off in front of their family and friends that came to see them and support them. And oftentimes they work really hard all throughout the year and they just aren't able to crack those lineups, but it's really good experience and they might surprise you. It's really important if you're a freshman or any underclassman, because you never competed in a college setting before. It's so different to compete in college versus your club experience. So putting those exhibitions out there is kind of a feeler to say, I'm ready for this routine, you can trust me, you can see my confidence. And oftentimes after an exhibition, if it goes well, those girls find their way into lineup. I think it's really cool that Simpson's doing their best to make sure those seniors get the recognition that they deserve too, because they spend just as much time training even if they're not in those lineups.
Absolutely. You're going to want to look out for senior Kaelyn Tally in this vault lineup. She has been an anchor in this vault lineup since her freshman year. She has multiple honors on vault, including the WCGA All-American second team from 2025, and she holds the Simpson record score of a 9.8.
The same goes on bars. There's a standout athlete. Her name is Kinley Rose, and she's capable of that 9.65 on bars. She has hit that threshold this season. It's really awesome to see a freshman being that standout athlete in an event where they're not really the strongest. It looks like they're finishing up this touch warm-up too, so we're almost ready to go.
It's like NCAA would be like higher up. Okay.
And then like a really short girl,
Like lower. Okay. All right, that makes sense.
These first 2 rotations with vault and bars, the athletes will compete simultaneously for the most part, so there's going to be a ton going on, but here's the Blugolds' first competitor. A beautiful blindfold to Tkachev into an overshoot handstand. This is going to help her get that 10-0 start value that we were talking about. Finishing up with her dismount. Another blind full into a double tuck with a clean landing. That was a great routine, an awesome way to open. You want your first competitor to be somebody you can rely on and somebody that's consistent, and that routine looks like it was just that.
Up first on vault for the Simpson Storm is going to be Rachel Welch. Huge Yurchenko layout from Rachel, and that clean landing, just like we talked about. A little celebration there, and another great, just like Nat mentioned, another great strong athlete to start off this lineup.
One thing to look out for is you typically would want to structure these lineups with somebody that's consistent and then build those scores. So we hope that both of those athletes open up with a great score to start the rotation so that the pressure comes off a little bit from these athletes farther in the lineup. We're about to see Ella Montgomery. Yes, Ella Montgomery. Still waiting on Ava's score. We're going to see if Ella can get those handstands to vertical. You get 10 degrees of 90 in a handstand. So hopefully they can get in that threshold and not get any deductions for those handstands moving forward. Looks like a 9.425, a great way to open the meet. And that was it, that beautiful handstand in a big Tkachev. She looks like she's being really aggressive. Another beautiful handstand. She's got gorgeous lines. You can tell she's a natural bar worker. And she almost got that stick. She really fought for that landing. That was a beautiful routine. They're going to be really happy with how that score comes out. That was awesome. Tons of handstands, beautiful lines, perfect leg form. Couldn't ask for more out of her today.
Next up on vault for Simpson is going to be Alexa Denton. She's a sophomore, so another young starter for this lineup. Capable of putting up a great score, though. Another huge layout. What I love about these layouts is their height, their distance, definitely their celebrations, and also that they're fighting for those landings. They're just taking a little step back. They're not running, they're not falling. They're in control of their vaults.
This guy, he's Sally.
Marlo, what's your celly? You got a little celly?
I don't got a Sally.
You don't got a celly?
I stay nonchalant. No Sally.
We're about to see Brooklyn. Still waiting on Ella's score, but that was a wonderful routine. I would expect that to be a little bit higher than that 9.425, but the judges will do what they do with those scores. It's an awesome start for the Blugolds.
I have to stay in one spot. How was work yesterday?
All right, looks like Brooklyn's ready.
Seems like it's a recurring thing for you at work.
That is the first Jaeger that we've seen in the Blugolds lineup. She was a little bit far from the bar. It'll be interesting to see if she's going to repeat that skill or move forward. The gymnast gets 30 seconds to get back on the apparatus. So she's definitely making some great time. She didn't rush that at all.
Taking a look at Bella Dix here for Simpson on vault. A huge souk full. I would have liked to see just a little bit more control on that landing, but overall, very well done.
And we're seeing Brooklyn. She connected that Jaeger right into her overshoot. So she did repeat this skill, but she was able to finish that routine after the fall. She finished it and she hit it, and that's exactly what this team's going to need, because you never know if you're going to need to count that score. She did a great job. She got that connection. It's a really difficult connection as well. You don't have a lot of time to adjust between catching one bar and transitioning to the other, so that was awesome for her, and she really was able to finish that routine strong. It's a hard thing to do mentally, too, when you have a little bit of a hiccup and you have to continue either way.
After a mistake, Nat, what kind of pressure does that put on the rest of the lineup on any event?
Yeah, so as we were talking about before, kind of building that lineup in a structure that has somebody be consistent and then those scores can build. But when you do have a fall, that puts the pressure on the rest of the lineup because you need to count at least 5 of those 6 scores. So hopefully that was the only fall we're going to see today for the Blugolds. But if not, those girls are definitely feeling a little bit of extra pressure.
We're going to see Kendall Pinkelman here on vault next. She is just a freshman. I believe this is her debut. It's going to be exciting to see what she can do for this lineup today. Another souk full. Very well done. That was a clean landing. Their celebrations are even better to watch than their vaults right now.
They do look like they're having a great time. And it's awesome, too, that they can have that fun element while they're celebrating their seniors. Never want to take anything too seriously. We're still waiting on that score.
But you guys didn't do conditioning though.
You see her taking a second. She's the 4th competitor, and there was a fall in front of her, so she's definitely feeling that pressure a little bit more than she would like to in this situation, but we'll see how she executes this routine. She's a very tall gymnast, so we're going to look at for her lines. We hope to see that leg extension throughout the whole routine. She's got a beautiful toe point. A gorgeous chapache right into a pack with tons of height. And that pirouette was almost right on top of the bar. This is a wonderful routine so far. That is exactly the routine you want, not only in your lineup, but especially following a fall. She's got gorgeous lines. We saw her stick that dismount. That's going to be a 10-0 start value. It's exactly what they wanted.
Emma Charles on the vault for Simpson just did a ginormous Yurchenko full. Very clean landing, flared it out, just took a little step back. So this Simpson vault lineup is making some progress, and their scores are showing it.
Simpson, they look like they're having fun over there. Kelsey, how important is it to have that energy when your team's on vault?
Absolutely. Vault is such a high energy event. We just saw that 9625 come through for Emma. So it's important to have that energy. At this point in the season, these girls are used to what they're doing. They've been practicing this routine. They're a few 4 or 5 meets in so far, so they're comfortable in what they're doing, and they're just looking to keep fighting and make it to the end of the season.
That 9725 is actually a season high for Cadence, so she's going to be excited about that. We saw that Jaeger to open the routine. And that blindfold right on top of the bar. Few steps back, but she really fought for that landing. She did not want to fall, so good for her.
And this is going to be Kaelyn Tally for Simpson. That vault we said to look out for. She's going to do a front with a half out. Beautiful. Added that pike position, just one step back. It's got to feel so good to hit your routine on your senior night with all your teammates there, with all your family there. It's got to be really exciting and good for Simpson and good for Kaelyn.
And she's been a staple. That vault is ginormous. That is the most height we've seen all day and the most height that we probably will see for the rest of the day. It's a gorgeous vault.
So as we mentioned before, we are going to see 2 exhibition routines in this Simpson lineup. These scores do not count towards their event total. So if there was a mistake made, they cannot count these exhibition routine scores towards that.
Here is freshman Kinley Rose. This was the routine we've been waiting for. She's going to anchor this bar lineup. There had been a fall so far in that 9:05. So hopefully not too much pressure, but let's see if she can execute. We're going to look for that higher up 9.5 or better score right now. That's really going to help the Blugolds moving forward in this competition. Just taking a second to calm her nerves a bit. And that is the handstand that we were talking about. A little bit close on her Jaeger, but she's got really good rhythm. She's moving through this routine. Really being aggressive with those handstands, closing her legs as fast as possible. Make sure she hits all those positions. And a double layout with a tiny hop forward. Gorgeous dismount. That was a perfect way for the Blugolds to end that bar rotation.
And just caught the end there of Winter Pula. She is one of those seniors that they're trying to get experience in, and a little celebration for her on her last home meet of her career. So good to see her. I know she's been working hard to try to get into that vault lineup.
While we're waiting for that last score on bars, it does look like so far this season the Blugolds high on bars was a 46.9. And might be biased, but I do think they're going to break that today because they'll hopefully be able to replace that 8 from their fall. They as well are going to have 2 exhibition routines this afternoon. And there it is. That is a new event record for this season for the Blugolds. Once again, they had a 46.9 as 46.9 is their high, and today they're doing a 46.95. Good for them.
And that was Bailey Tessina on the vault for Simpson. She is another senior, and a mistake, but you know what? That's what these exhibition routines are for. Just to get their experience out there, get their nerves out, and let them compete.
That's a great point. Regardless of a hit or not, it is really important that these girls are just able to be aggressive and show off what they've been practicing. At the end of the day, these scores don't mean anything, but they do potentially mean your entry into a lineup later in the season. So. This first exhibition from the Blugolds, we did see a fall, but the amplitude on her release move was insane. She connected right into her overshoot. It's a very difficult connection. It's a small hop forward. It's a very clean routine. Yes, there was a fall on that overshoot, but at the end of the day, she's got clean gymnastics and a lot of difficulty, so I hope to see that routine later in this year in the lineup.
That's that. So yeah, we got bars.
I don't think so.
Let's see, Simpson ending with a 48.2 on the vault there, so that's a great start for them heading into the rest of this meet.
We have one final exhibition for the Blugolds, and that's going to conclude our first rotation. Going into this meet, these teams were very evenly matched, very similar season averages, so it's going to probably get a lot tighter with these scores as we see the rest of the day, especially with the Blugolds opening with a season high.
This is a bad idea of getting drunk.
In their first exhibition, getting that 905 with the fall speaks a ton to her clean lines, to her amplitude, to her skill level. I really do think she might get into this lineup.
I didn't use my crush last night when I went to the bar.
Another Jaeger into a direct overshoot connection. And once she gets more confidence in opening up that double tuck, she'll be able to find that landing. Maybe we'll see her later this year in the lineup as well.
I think despite their mistakes, I really like seeing their aggression on this event. They're going for the skills, they're not holding back, and I think coaches would rather see an aggressive mistake than a mistake where you're holding back and not really going for it.
Agree 100%. It looks like the 9-4-2-5s opened that rotation perfectly, topped off with that 9-7-2-5. So that was an awesome rotation.
Yes, and on the vault side for Simpson, we see that freshman Kendall getting a 9.7, and then Kaelyn Tally with that 9.8, so tying her career high and also the Simpson event record.
I think that was a great way to open this meet. Really good energy in that room. It looks like the girls are having a ton of fun. At the end of the day, vault's a hard event because there's not a ton of wiggle room. And bars is a really hard event because those skills are so unique to any other skills that you do on any other apparatus. So both very unique events. It's going to be interesting to see how they do in rotation too, but really good start.
Absolutely, and heading into our second rotation, they are just going to flip-flop. So Claire is going to the vault and Simpson will be on the bars. Nat, what are you most looking forward to in this next event?
Yeah, I'm really excited to see the Blugolds take on vault. I'm going to look for the same thing. Let's see if there's that amplitude, that distance from the table, those clean landings. I think Simpson set a great precedent opening on vault with barely maybe one, if not two steps on the landings, which was awesome. And that's exactly what the Blugolds are going to want to see on vault. And I think Simpson going into bars, the Blugolds open the meetup by making sure that they're getting those single bar releases, making sure that difficulty level is at that 10.0. I think Simpson's going to do their best to also hit those regiments, and Simpson has great bar routines. I think they have awesome composition, so I'm really excited to see what they can do there. As an ex-coach of the Simpson Storm, Kelsey, how do you feel about this bar team?
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned releases, Nat. This is actually going to be the first season that the Simpson bar lineup has a lineup of all 6 single bar releases. So we're hoping to see some massive releases today. Like you said, aggression, handstands, looking for those landings on dismounts.
Another huge goal that the Blugolds have going into this season in this meet today is making sure that they're doing the quality of routines that they showcase in practice every day. So like we talked about with the exhibitions, the competition is going to feel different. You're going to feel that pressure, those nerves, all that excitement. But at the end of the day, the girls that are in these lineups are in these lineups because they practice well and consistently. So we hope to see some more bar routines and some more vaults that look identical to the way that they look in practice. One thing that's important for the athletes to remember is they've earned their spot in these lineups and they don't need to do anything differently than they do every day, even though we're in a competition setting. So hopefully they'll be able to keep that mindset of practicing the way they compete and competing the way they practice.
Absolutely. And for this Simpson lineup, you're going to want to look out for Evalyn Resnick. Last weekend, she scored a career high of a 9.8, and that also set the new bar record for Simpson. So kind of like we mentioned in the beginning, this team has only been around for 4 years, so they are making sure that they set these records, and Emily and Kelsey have both done a really great job of helping these athletes accomplish those goals. It's something to say for them to be this many meets into the season and still setting goals and still setting records, so exciting.
This many meets into the season and this many years into their existence. I mean, Simpson's done a great job of establishing themselves as a powerhouse in their conference. I think they've been growing every single year, and their coaching staff, I mean, Emily has been consistent, Kelsey has been consistent. They've been awesome supporting these girls. Even this new competition setting is different for them, and it's awesome that the university is able to give them this opportunity to compete in here in a space that's dedicated to them. So I'm really excited for the future of Simpson College Gymnastics, that's for sure. When we're watching vault, we're going to look out for Haley Zimpella. She last weekend scored a 9.575, so we hope to see that again today. We're going to look for some upgraded vaults, those layouts, and some twisting vaults is kind of the goal for this afternoon. Looks looks like there's a ton of fans in this arena, and earlier this season there was an overflow of fans as well. Kelsey, can you speak to the way that Simpson is able to grow their fan base? It looks like they have a ton of support.
Yeah, absolutely. For those who know, for those who don't know, they used to compete inside of their basketball facility. That was also where they practiced. So the last 3 years of this program, they did not have a full floor to practice on. They were going to and from club gyms for practices just so that they could get their numbers on hard floor. But they have this beautiful new facility that we're looking at now. So it is men's and women's gymnastics inside this facility. But they've done a really good job of getting their names out there, getting people excited about these meets, especially with senior day coming around. I know these girls have probably done a really good job just marketing around their campus to come watch them and get people excited about gymnastics, because it's not a huge event in Indianola, Iowa, if you could believe that, but they've done a really good job of growing it and getting it out there to the community.
They've done a great job. I believe personally, and maybe this is biased, but the sport of gymnastics in the last couple of years has been seeing a ton of growth in spectatorship and fans and support. I think a ton of that potentially probably comes from those elite gymnasts that are making their way back to college gymnastics, but it's awesome for the sport to get so many eyes on it lately as they are.
Absolutely. And Emily Payne was a University of Denver gymnast herself, so she knows what it's like to be in a big arena, to have a lot of fans, and I know that she's looking to get this program on the same stage as she was at Denver.
Yeah, I mean, both these teams are led by ex-Division I former athletes. I think that that's an awesome frame of reference to be able to convey to these girls the importance of making sure that they can hold that stature and they can compete in these high-energy arenas. Kelsey, as somebody who went from a college gymnast to the coaching space, how did you make that transition, and what skills do you feel like you had going into coaching that others might not have the opportunity to gain?
Yeah, I think there's something to say about being an athlete and then transitioning right into coaching. You feel like you're in their shoes, you understand where they're coming from, you understand the pressures and all the things that happen. So, but you also understand other things, how hard you have to work and kind of what you need to do to get it done.
The Blugolds are ready to start this vault rotation. Our first vault. The athlete looks like she is getting ready down there. This is Hannah Riha with a Yurchenko layout. She chose to do a 2-foot hop back instead of a step. Those are going to be worth the same amount in it as a deduction, but hopping backwards is better than hopping forwards. You always want to have more momentum than less. So that deduction is going to be minimal, and that was a beautifully clean Yurchenko layout. Great way to start this vault rotation. Gonna wait on her score.
Over to the bars for Simpson, we are going to take another look at Rachel Welch. If you remember, she opened up vault and now she's going to open up the bar lineup. So she's definitely an athlete that they can count on for a solid routine to get these lineups started.
A 9.475 for Hannah. That's a good solid start to this rotation. So when you're seeing that graphic of two different scores in the average, that's Judge 1 and Judge 2, and they have to come to a consensus and give that average score. We saw just one more Yurchenko layout. It looked huge as well. Great distance from the table. These vaults so far have been super, super clean. We haven't seen really any form breaks. It's just landing deduction. So that's an awesome way to go about this rotation, building that lineup of consistency and a lot of performance factor.
And while we're waiting on those scores, I'm scoring their celebrations and I'm giving them all 10s.
100%. These girls look like they're just having the best time competing today, and that's what you need. Hopefully that's taking a little bit of pressure off, but they all are celebrating to the max today.
Here goes Rachel on the bars for Simpson. Nice handstand. Straight to a bail to handstand. So she's gearing up for her dismount. A huge double layout and just that tiny step back. So it will not be a 10-0 start value. We did not see that single bar release that we had mentioned before, but that was still a clean, sharp, aggressive routine and a great way to start off this bar lineup.
In this third spot on vault, we're going to see Grace. She's following a 9.575, I believe, which is a great score. So far, these scores are building, and hopefully we see them continue to increase. And she did a tuck full. A little bit off on the direction, so you're going to see those white lines on the landing mat, and you want to try to keep your vault landing within those white lines. Otherwise, your direction is just a little bit off, but that was a huge vault, tons of height, a little bit on the landing, but really good way to continue this vault lineup, that's for sure. And that was the first twisting vault we've seen from the Blugolds, so hopefully we see a couple more to finish this lineup. And Grace comes in with that 9.4. This is a good rotation so far for the Blugolds. They should be happy with this.
They look loose, they look like they're having fun, and I think that's exactly what Jessie was looking for to go into this meet, heading into this meet, just being normal.
Mm-hmm. The emphasis on being yourself, being normal, competing the way that you've been practicing is definitely the overarching theme for today's meet, I would say. Here's Cadence's vault. Another huge full twisting Yurchenko with just that small step back, but she's a powerful gymnast. She had those gorgeous lines on bars, but she's also a powerhouse on vault. Really well-rounded individual.
So we see that 8.95 from Rachel come in. Now we're taking a look at Avril Crespin. She is a senior. Been in and out of this bar lineup. But so far, so good. Very clean lines and hitting those handstands nice and sharp. And a pretty unique dismount. One little step finds the landing. Good job.
A senior being in and out of the lineup, and that was a beautiful routine. I hope that she does stay in there. That was awesome. Here comes Abigail Burns. This rotation feels like it's flying by. They're moving so fast. I wonder if these girls feel the same way. And she is actually a vault specialist. We're seeing her season high of a 9.5. Let's see if she can match that today. A huge souk full, a little chest down on that landing and a step back, but very, very clean. She's controlling her power really nicely and getting tons of distance from the table.
Next up on bars is going to be Alexa Denton for Simpson.
Awesome. She's getting a little pep talk from her teammates before she starts this routine, hopefully calming her nerve, giving her some words of encouragement. And that was a new season high for Abigail, that 9.525. Tons of high scores for the season happening today. This is exciting.
Here goes Alexa on bars.
We're seeing Jada Frederick on vault. Yurchenko half a little low on that landing, but she was able to stay on her feet.
And then Alexa just did a beautiful piked Jaeger. She was right on top of the bar for that handstand. Legs were nice and tight. Unfortunately, dropped those knees. That is going to count as a fall, but that was a gorgeous routine. Well done on the bar for Alexa.
She's definitely the most beautiful bar worker we've seen today. That precision in those lines are absolutely stunning. It's unfortunate she wasn't able to keep that landing on her feet, but that was a wonderful routine.
My first job, literally like the day I began to work with, I got one. What are you coaching? My gym. I mean, I'm done now.
Here we have some exhibitions. We're seeing Ava, and that was Jada's first vault of the season. So her first time in the lineup, and she was able to keep that vault on her feet, so that's huge. Here is Ava. She has done vault twice so far this season, and today she's in the exhibition spot. Waiting on those judges to be ready for her. Hopefully that didn't get too much into her head.
That's Chinese, right?
And here comes Ava. Clean landing, Yurchenko layout. You can see why she would be in that lineup every once in a while. Good for her. Great experience.
And this is Emma Charles on bars. You just saw that ginormous staccato straight into her overshoot. Right back up to the high bar. Just tiny little hop back for Emma. That was a massive routine, especially coming after that mistake before her. So hopefully that will pick this lineup right back up so that they can finish on a good note. See those scores on the side of your screen. Not horrible, but maybe not exactly the start that Simpson was looking for on this event. So hopefully Emma's score and then our last routines can pick it back up a little bit. But they look like they have good energy, good momentum going, so I'm not too worried.
I will say Simpson does look like they're being aggressive with those handstands. That's definitely something that's hard to do in competition because it's so easy to give it a little bit too much juice and go over the bar. So when they're attacking those handstands and being deliberate with those leg positions, I think it's really awesome, especially being in a competition setting. It's really hard to make yourself do that mentally. And the Blugolds have finished up their vault rotation, so we'll wait for those scores to be finalized, but they'll wait and watch for Simpson to finish up this bar rotation as well. Looks like they're keeping the energy high in that room.
See, they're coming over to support Simpson. I always love when teams do that. It just shows that it's a little bit bigger than gymnastics. It's always friendly competition, and everyone's there to just have fun and do their best.
And that's awesome. The sport of gymnastics is so unique where you are on a team and you're competing for your team, but you're also doing an individual sport to an extent. So it's really awesome that everybody can put those aside and cheer for one another. A lot of these girls, too, probably competed oftentimes in club together, so they may have known each other for years upon years. This may not be the first time they're competing against each other.
And this is going to be Evalyn Resnick, that routine we told you to look out for. Coming off of a career and a program record, 9.8 last weekend. Nicely done Shaposh right up to a handstand. And then back to the low bar. Just a tiny, tiny bit loose on that overshoot, but way to hold on to it. Gearing up for her dismount. Massive double layout. Little tiny hop back, so very well done for Evalyn.
Similar to the conversation. Sorry, Kelsey, continue.
I will say they've done a great job of upgrading their dismounts this season, as well as those single release bars that we've seen.
They have. We haven't been seeing a ton of double tucks. We've been seeing those toe fronts and double layouts, so that's really awesome for Simpson. Similar to the conversation we were having on vault, when you're continuing your momentum and stepping backwards or moving in the direction of your flip, it is less of a deduction than stepping forwards. So these double layouts, when they're taking that hop backwards, it just means they have a little bit of extra juice in the tank and they're doing exactly the right thing. So eventually, with some more confidence and some more numbers, they'll be able to find those landings and get those sticks. But over-rotating is a much better situation than under-rotation.
Absolutely.
Looks like the back end of this lineup is keeping those scores above a 9. We're seeing the 9.275 and a couple 9.175s. Those are the scores they're going to want for this rotation.
We're going to have Liz Sisler up next. She is going to be the anchor for this lineup, and then we will also see 2 exhibition routines, both from seniors, both who have been in and out of this bar lineup. So I'm glad they're just getting the opportunity to compete today.
What a phenomenal 9.525. A great routine from Evalyn. In this anchor spot, Liz is going to go into this routine knowing that the girls in front of her did their job. There's been some great routines in this lineup. She shouldn't feel a ton of pressure. Hopefully she's able to be aggressive and execute the way that she does in practice. That's the goal of the day.
Another Jaeger connected into that overshoot. Very well done, and Liz does a good job of just looking calm on this event. She looks like she owns it. She looks like she knows exactly what she's doing. She knows her body knows what it's doing. And there she finds that double tuck to a stick.
Absolutely beautiful routine. You can tell, too, she opened that routine with that strong, aggressive handstand, and it set her up for the note of the whole entire routine. That was stunning, and she was able to find that landing cherry on top. They should be really, really happy with that routine.
Absolutely.
What a great athlete to have in your anchor spot.
We'll hopefully see that score come up higher than Evalyn's 9.525. That's the goal. Build off of those scores.
We're seeing a lot of personality from these girls as they see the camera. Their moms and dads and brothers and sisters, friends at home, getting to see them having a little bit of fun.
This is going to be senior Izzy Brown. Like I mentioned, has been in and out of this bar lineup, definitely capable of putting up a score in the exhibition spot today. So in my mind, her goal is to just have fun and do what she knows how to do, show it off a little bit for her senior night.
And she
Nice
catches that Jaeger.
Had to fight a little bit on that kip after her Jaeger, but no problem. Right into her overshoot and back up to the high bar. Finds that landing a few steps, but that's okay. She's having fun. She made it through her bar routine.
And that's what exhibitions are for. I will give her props. It is really difficult to do an overshoot and hold your feet up in that kip because you're on the low bar and you have all of that energy and momentum coming right towards the floor. So she was able to hold those feet up, which is huge. And then on top of that, she must have been a little bit tired, and she was still able to find that landing for her dismount. So that is a bar worker that wants to fight her way back into that lineup, that's for sure.
You can see Liz ended that bar lineup with that 9.675. So Simpson is going to end with a 46.825 on the uneven bars, and they are just ahead of Eau Claire. You can see those team scores at the bottom there. We knew this was going to happen. This was going to be a neck and neck meet, so it's definitely exciting to see these scores so close. I'm sure it makes it fun for the girls as well. Our last exhibition routine for Simpson is going to be senior winter pull-off. Getting a little pep talk from her teammates. Same thing as Izzy. She's been in and out of this bar lineup throughout her career. She's looking to have fun, hit a routine, and do what she knows how to do today. A little short on that first handstand. I would have liked to see a little more aggression into that Ginger, but I believe this is the first time that she's competing that Ginger, so good for her. And like we keep mentioning, this is what these exhibition routines are for. And I want to see her get back on the bar, finish this routine like nothing happened.
And that's really hard too. The bar endurance is something that's really hard to train. So when you do have a fall like that, you've really got to have that stamina, the grip strength, and the endurance to be able to finish a routine nicely.
Nice dismount from Winter. Could see her just fighting through that routine a little bit, but well done.
She had a ton of height, both on her Ginger and on that dismount, so that routine's going to be really nice when she puts it together.
That is going to conclude our second event. You can see those scores there, as I mentioned before. These teams are really close in scores. It's going to be tight for the rest of the meet, which is just going to make it very exciting. Note that 9.675 from Liz Sisler, and then that 9.7 from Eau Claire on the vault.
And that was another event high for the Blugolds. That 47.675 is their highest event score of the season on vault so far, and we're going to see that giant 9.7 in those couple 9.5s and higher. It was a really good rotation for the Blugolds, and they should be happy with that. 2 event highs on the first 2 events. This is going to be a great meet for them, but as we looked at it before, it's going to be a very close competition, and right now it looks like only a 4/10 discrepancy between the 2 teams and their team total. Really excited to see how this meet plays out.
As we head into our third rotation, Simpson is going to be on beam and Eau Claire is going to be on the floor. So, Nat, how do you take the momentum and the energy from that vault and bar lineup and carry it over to beam? That could be seen as maybe a little less exciting event.
Yeah, I mean, in this room right now, you can tell the energy is just emulating. We can feel it through the screen. So hopefully those girls are able to take that excitement and channel it into some sort of calmness. Oftentimes when you're on beam, you don't want to have those excited, nervous jitters, but you want to feel stable and you want to feel confident in your movements. So hopefully they can trust their training and they can channel that into their confidence rather than into their nerves. Really excited to see how that goes. But both of these teams have really good beam teams. I'm looking forward to seeing how they make sure that they go from floor, which is a huge high energy event, and they keep that energy up in their endurance up, in their power, but then they transition into beam and they are doing graceful, confident, very deliberate movements. So that'll be exciting, but I think these girls can definitely do it, especially in the environment that they're in. It looks like there's a ton of support in that room, and it looks like there's a lot of fans too. So hopefully everybody's respectful of those beam girls when they're competing, and then really high energy for those girls that are doing floor. We see them getting into that 4-minute touch right now. It looks like they're still in the 2-minute transition. So once that timer gets down to 0, they'll get on the beam and on the floor for just those 4 minutes. And like we said, those turns are more for just kind of ironing out whatever they had in warm-up. They might do one of each skill. They might just do some dance throughs. We don't know what they'll do in this 4-minute touch, but it's really important for them to touch the events again, kind of get their feel back. They haven't warmed up since, who knows, it could have been plenty of hours since they touched these apparatus. So looking into this, they're kind of getting their skills ready on the floor, and then they'll hop onto the beam. We'll see how that goes, but a lot of personality comes through on both beam and floor. So we'll see a ton of the athletes, what they feel confident doing. We'll see some really fun dance. We'll see a lot of elegance on the beam. We'll see a ton of things that we weren't able to see in vault and bars just because those are more skill forward, and beam and floor are very, very performance forward. The composition of these routines, both on beam and on floor, are going to come into play, trying to make sure that you're hitting that 10-0 start value by including all of your connections and your difficulty, and making sure that your skills are definitely up to level. Oftentimes on beam, athletes run into the issue of not connecting their skills as smoothly as they should and not really getting that bonus. So that's something to look out for. One of the Blugolds' goals for this season and this meet is to focus on those little details. So when they're on floor right now, that's where their third rotation will take place. They're going to look for the details, whether that's making sure their leap passes are hitting 180 degrees, making sure their turning skills, twisting skills are completing all the way around, and on those power passes, making sure that instead of taking a couple steps, they're taking that lunge or not moving at all. So those are the details that they're going to want to focus on.
Both these teams so far have done a really great job of being aggressive and fighting through these routines, so I'm looking forward to them keeping on doing that in the next 2 events.
We're going to see Emily Lease, a junior for the Blugolds, on floor. She has scored a 9.625 this season, so that is a huge routine. Really looking forward to seeing that. And on floor, when they're showing their personality and they're dancing, oftentimes you can cover a lot of those little deductions with dance or with how you plan to perform those skills. So we'll see if the athletes can do that or how they plan to structure these routines and really show off their skills. There's so much energy in this room. I wonder if we'll even be able to hear their floor music.
They do look like they're having fun. On beam for Simpson, you're going to want to look out for Brooklyn Morgan. She currently holds the program beam score, the program event score for beam, 9.725, so that's a routine you're going to want to look out for. And then Rachel Welch is going to be starting off this lineup again. This is the third time we'll see her in that first spot position. So, Nat, what does that say about her as an athlete? That her coaches trust her to start off 3 events, and she's only a sophomore.
Yeah, and I mean, being an underclassman, that is a huge testament to how she feels as a competitor and how confident her teammates and her coaching staff is in her. Because that first spot really sets the tone for the entire event rotation. Like we said, there are 6 athletes competing, only 5 of those scores count. So you really want your leadoff person to be somebody that's reliable and consistent. At the end of the day, if you start the rotation with the fall, it puts a ton of pressure on the end of the lineup. But having her lead off in 3 events speaks volumes to the competitor that she is. It looks like they're having a dance party over there on floor, making sure that energy is up. Kelsey, how does it feel being a competitor on beam next to people that are competing on floor, and they're dancing and they're singing and they're yelling and they're having the time of their lives, and you need to get on the beam and you need to be calm and confident? How do you make that transition?
You know, sometimes I think it depends on the athlete, but sometimes it can just hype you up to do your beam that more aggressive, to know that you got it, everybody's having fun, that it kind of alleviates the pressure of what beam can make you feel. Some athletes do like it very quiet and calm, but I would be remiss to say that it is very loud in there, so I don't know that we're going to get any quiet beam routines.
That's for sure. When we're doing floor today, what we want to look for, we want to look for height in those tumbling passes. We want to look for form if it's a twisting pass or a power pass. We want to make sure those ankles and knees are glued together. And then on their leap passes, the goal for those is to have their hips rise. So we want to see giant leaps that are not only hitting 180, but they're making sure to rise. Same with those double salto passes. The first flip is intended to be lower, and the second flip is supposed to be your peak height. So we're really going to look for that in floor, and of course, artistry and execution. We want to see them showing off the personality and having fun. What are we going to look for on these beam routines?
So on beam, like you mentioned, big 180 leaps, see those hips rise, find those connections, little details on beam especially. If you're upside down in the back handspring layout, the judges are going to see your legs bend. So looking for little details, sticking landings, fighting for every little bobble, as every 10th counts, especially with a meet this close.
Yeah, in these 2 final events, I mean, these are the Blugolds' best events historically this year, so we're going to hope to see some giant scores from them, but this meet is definitely going to get super close. Here's Anna opening up this floor rotation. And Rudy back tuck, huge height, and that is exactly what we were talking about, making sure that that second flip is rising, and hers definitely did. Those mats you see on the floor are not going to be a deduction. Those are for athlete safety and precaution. You see her teammates dancing alongside with her on the sidelines. It's super fun to see them all get involved.
It goes Rachel on the beam for Simpson.
Last pass, that 1.5 front layout. Her legs were glued together in that front layout. That's exactly what you want to see. An awesome first routine from Anna. She should be excited about that.
Unfortunately, Rachel does take that fall. It's kind of like you mentioned, that is going to put a lot of pressure on the rest of this beam lineup, but if I know one thing about this beam lineup, it's that they're going to be aggressive and they're going to keep fighting, and they're not going to let a mistake stop them. So looking for Rachel to finish this routine strong, which she's very capable of doing. Very well done side aerial. I didn't see a single little bobble on that.
Incredible the way that she's able to keep her head in the right space and finish the routine with little to none deductions. Like this finishing, all these skills have been beautiful.
Yes, tiny little hop on that dismount, and even though there was a mistake, you can see why they trust her to be in this position. The rest of that routine was just absolutely beautiful. Very well done.
Agree. You can tell that she's definitely a competitor. She looks strong and confident even following that fall. It's really, really hard to do. Still waiting on a score. It looks like she opened that rotation with a 9.65. That is a huge score to lead them off. Good for the Blugolds in their first routine. And we're going to attribute that wonderful score to the way that she was able to just glue those legs together in all of her twisting skills. There was not a gap. No feet crossed, no bent legs. Beautiful form. Getting ready for our first pass. A front Rudy layout step out. She got tons of power moving backwards and she was able to control that landing. You can tell that she just loves to dance. She's having a great time out there. Wonderful performer. Really hitting those 180s. She got a ton of height on those leaps and jumps. Just really enjoying herself.
And this is the senior Olivia Short on beam for Simpson. So following that fall, she's going to want to be really aggressive, be normal, and just do her beam.
We're seeing Grace go into her last pass. A little bit short. That was a round off double tuck, and she wasn't quite able to get the rotation she needed.
Seeing some huge jumps and leaps from Olivia. No question if she's hitting those 180s or not. Gearing up for her acro series. Front aerial. Into that back handspring. So unfortunately she is not going to get the connection for that. And look for a strong finish from Liv here. Well done dismount. Just that tiny little step. So she stayed on the beam, which is what they need. I'm looking forward to seeing this lineup continue fighting.
In connections like that is kind of what we discussed earlier. When you're going to miss any of those connections, you lose your potential for those bonus points. So we probably will not see her start value at a 10.0, but she was able to save that skill and stay on the beam, which is really, really important for this lineup. So this third competitor is coming after a fall. She's going to have that added pressure. We'll see how she handles it. She's a wonderful dancer. You can tell that she's got a ton of artistry. A giant double pike with a great landing for her first pass. And the music switch up as she has some fun. She is just smiling all the way through this routine. The Blugolds are really showing off these leaps. Every athlete so far has gotten tons of height on their leaps. That speaks a lot to the shape that these girls are in. Oftentimes when it's not your main tumbling pass, you don't want to exert too much energy on those leaps and jumps, but they are putting their all into these leaps and jumps and still having the endurance for the floor routine. So that's really impressive. Says a lot about the way that they've prepared in the preseason. The 1.5 front layout. She is so bouncy. Was able to hold those legs together on that front layout too, which is really hard to do after a twisting skill. And they'll be happy with that routine. She's excited. Her teammates are excited. What a way to come back from a fall.
This is going to be senior Izzy Brown on beam up next for Simpson. She is also following a couple mistakes, so I'm sure she is feeling the pressure. She's very capable of doing a beautiful beam routine.
I really like the way that she just took that deep breath to ground herself before mounting the beam.
Nicely done aerial for her acro series. She fights to stay on. Depending how picky the judges are going to be, I don't know they'll give her that connection because she did break out her hips a little bit. But nicely done jump series. Switch leap, switch half. Nat and I can both attest that is not an easy leap pass to do.
Very
So
difficult
well done.
leap pass and very hard to connect. So good for her. And then here comes Hannah starting her floor routine. Rudy with a giant straddle jump.
And Izzy sticks that front gainer fold dismount. That is definitely a routine to be excited about. Very well done.
We've seen Hannah go into the straddle position. That was the third time today. And honestly, you can totally tell why. She's doing an oversplit. Not only is she hitting that 180, she's exceeding it. Her lines are beautiful in these leaps and jumps. You can tell why they added that straddle jump after her first pass. Getting ready for the second pass. You're gonna need a double salto element. And there it is, that 1.5 front layout. She did get those toes a little bit out of bounds. So if you're in the blue, you're in the clear. But if you have any part of your body over that towards the white carpet, that is going to be a deduction of 1/10. But that was a great routine. Tons of power, really fun dance. Just that minor, tiny out of bounds with her toes on that last pass. So far, the Blugolds have been off to a good start. They did have that fall, but they've been doing well ever since. These girls look like they're keeping the energy high, so hopefully that hasn't affected them.
Next up on beam for Simpson is going to be Olivia Hedary. This is our first look at her this meet, but she is usually an all-arounder for the Storm. She actually holds the all-around program record of a 38.05, so definitely capable of putting up some big scores. At this point in the season, it could be injuries, it could be illnesses, it could just be trying different lineups, but excited to see her in this beam lineup following that 9175 from Izzy.
Here comes Haley Zampella on the floor. Two and a half twists to open that routine. Once again, her legs had great form in that twist. Oftentimes you see them cross and get all locked up within each other, but she didn't. She was able to keep those glued together.
My favorite thing about Olivia's beam routine is just that she takes her time. She looks comfortable. She looks like she knows what she's doing. You'll sometimes see a lot of athletes go really fast, move really fast, and that can sometimes work up your nerves more so than just being slow and just taking your time. They'd have to redo that acro series aerial into a back handspring down, which is also a very unique skill, fun to watch.
Haley finishing up that floor routine. The 2.5 to open was just wonderful. She's gotten a 9.675 this season, so we'll see if she can top that score, but that was a phenomenal routine.
Nice Branny. Also very difficult to do. I like that Olivia has these unique difficult skills in her beam routine. Showcases what she's capable of. And a nice stuck 1.5 for that dismount.
She may have had that fall, but she packed a ton of difficulty into that routine. Oftentimes athletes will do, for lack of a better term, the bare minimum to make sure they're getting all their requirements, but it looks like Olivia just put in those skills because she's capable and talented. There's a lot of huge skills in there.
Absolutely. And sometimes you don't always see that in Division III. It can seem like they are doing watered down skills, but what I like about both of these teams is they're executing big skills. They're doing them well, and they could compete with a lot of teams, not just within their own conferences.
100%. I appreciate them being aggressive, making this composition to the best of their ability. And even though these big skills we might have seen on beam, for example, a few falls, they're doing really hard gymnastics, especially those either forward-backward connection series or side aerial. You have no time to make any adjustments. Your hands never touch the beam. You don't have the time to move your feet around, so it's really hard gymnastics. Beautiful artistry. This music is different than the other high energy routines that we've seen so far, but I really like it. A front layout, Rudy. A little bit off on that side step. She looked like she was missing a little bit of rotation, but she was able to clean it up nicely. Getting ready for this last pass. We want to see her land with her chest up. And she saves it. Very low on that landing, but she's able to stay on her feet.
This is Brooklyn Morgan on the beam for Simpson.
I just finishes up with those jumps. She is a floor specialist, and you can tell why.
Very well done side aerial from Brooklyn. One thing unique about Brooklyn's routine is that she actually does her acro series close to last. It is pretty normal for athletes to want to get that acro series over with in the beginning of her routine. But Brooklyn does it towards the end. We're seeing it here, the back handspring layout. Come on. Fights to stay on. So it's okay. We are seeing some mistakes from Simpson, but that's okay. We're at that point in the season where they're allowed to toggle with their lineups. They're allowed to see what athletes can do just to make sure that they can maximize their lineups at the end of their season at the NCAA championships.
Yeah, and we are seeing some mistakes, but you can tell that all these routines have the potential for a huge score. Their gymnastics is beautiful, it's clean, they look confident. At the end of the day, it's just going to be a matter of when they can put it all together in the same meet.
Absolutely.
That 9.2 for Sky. She has a season high of a 9.625, so wasn't her best routine, but I'm really, really impressed with the way that she was able to keep that second pass on her feet. Open up this routine with tons of high energy. Another front layup front Rudy, and she really dials into that landing. She didn't slide her feet at all. She's just a great dancer. You can tell that she's enjoying every second of this floor routine. We want to see a little bit more extension in that leap pass. Slowing the stance down to have a breather before her last pass. In a 1.5 front tuck. Clean landing. I'm curious to know if she's always doing that 1.5 front tuck or if she's intending for a front layout. It doesn't look like she's too excited about that routine, so my gut tells me it was supposed to be a front layout, but it was still really well executed.
Charles now on beam for Simpson. Another aggressive athlete. Let's do a triple series. Back handspring, layout, step out. It looks like she just held back just a tiny bit. I would like to see a little more aggression. Beautiful switch for her leap pass. That is also another hard leap series to do. Right into the 1.5 dismount, just a tiny step. Overall, controlled that beam routine very well, despite the mistake.
We're going to see one more exhibition from Jada. But the Blugolds had a great floor rotation. They had that early fall and they were able to keep up those scores to finish out that rotation. And again, these last 2 scores being exhibitions are not going to count towards their team total.
Matt, we mentioned before, maybe some fatigue. These teams are both near or at the halfway point of their seasons. So what is something, I mean, they've got to be tired at this point. How are you feeling as an athlete at this point in your season?
And I think there's a little bit of push and pull with that because at the end of the day, you don't want to peak too early in your strength and your endurance. So oftentimes in the beginning of season, you have less endurance even though your body might feel better. And then as season goes on, you do get stronger, but you get those nagging little injuries. You get, tweaks every once in a while. So as of right now, I would hope that they're feeling pretty good, but we would not want them to peak this early in the season. So endurance-wise, I think that they look strong and ready. And if they can avoid injury for the rest of the season, I think it's going to really bode well for them in postseason. But you think of endurance and you just think of floor. Endurance is going to come into play on floor, vault, bars, and beam. Because beam might look delicate and it might look easy and you could do those skills on the ground, but the mental warfare that you face when you're competing beam really takes a lot out of you, and it does really, really tap into that endurance and the muscle strength. And a lot of it is mental strength, but all gymnastics has a lot to do with how strong you are and how well you structure that preseason to make sure that you're ready for such a long competition season. Especially when these athletes, if they're underclassmen, they might have just come out of club. And in club, you compete maybe 10 times during one season, but in college, you're competing every single weekend, and that's a lot on your body.
Absolutely. Taking a look now at Avril Crespin on beam. Nicely done. Back handspring layout, step out series from her. She is in this exhibition spot. A little bit short on that 180 for those jumps, but stays on. Side aerial.
It is senior night, and we were talking about that energy a ton. Do you think these girls in the minor errors we've been seeing in Simpson's beam rotation, can you attribute any of that to the energy in the room, do you think?
You could say a little bit. I think most important for these girls is that it looks like they're just not being as aggressive as we would want them to be. Sometimes you can get too calm for this event. That is a very true statement. If you're not focused on being aggressive and not focused on going big, it can turn into these mistakes that we are seeing. So maybe not so much the energy, because it does still look like they have a lot of energy in this event, but maybe too calm almost would be kind of what they're looking at right now when they're competing.
Yeah, potentially even overcompensating for knowing that there's a ton of excitement going on and grounding yourself just a bit too much.
Gonna see that event total of 45,375. And we're gonna take a look at one more exhibition, Bailey Tessina.
It seems like in all gymnastics competition, beam is a make or break event. Being a beam competitor yourself, Kelsey, how do you feel going into beam, either being your last rotation or your second to last rotation, whether being home or away? How does that make you feel knowing that it could be a make or break event for the team?
Yeah, it can be very nerve-wracking, and I think just like we talked about before, you can get too calm, you can get too calm. You can get too calm to do a beam. And so I think going into it, you just have to know that you need to be aggressive. Know that you've worked so hard during preseason and that you deserve the spot that you're in, and just kind of let your body do its thing. I think going from a high energy event like vault and bars into beam can sometimes be hard to calm those nerves, especially when there's another team on floor with very high energy on their event. And then vice versa, it can also be really hard to take all that energy from floor and then know your last event is beam, and know that that could be make or break at the last moment of the meet, and you wouldn't have another chance to kind of make up for any mistakes that are made. So it's very important to just stay in the moment, stay where you're at, don't get ahead of yourself, and trust yourself, trust your teammates.
I think you made a really good point when you said if you're in the lineup, you deserve to be in the lineup. I feel like it would feel very good to take all those athletes by the shoulders and shake them a little bit and say you should be confident, you are capable, and you deserve to be in that spot. I think that would take a lot of weight off their shoulders, because oftentimes when you compete, you feel as though you're trying to prove something, but at the end of the day, being in the lineup has proven everything it needs to in itself. So I really hope that these girls, especially going into floor after this not as awesome as they would expect beam rotation, they're able to take that, use a little bit of confidence, have some fun, and give the seniors the experience that they deserve on their senior night. That's going to be really important to transition this energy when it comes to floor.
And we are seeing a little bit of a judges conference going on about Averil's score, potentially about that leap series that she did. What are you thinking, Nat? Well, you're waiting there for the judges to conference and you're trying to do your beam routine.
Yeah, I mean, in an exhibition spot, you cannot get a more accurate simulation of what the meet's going to feel like. You're already a little bit nervous. You're getting this opportunity. You don't want to make any mistakes. But on top of it, there's a judges conference, and you have all that extra time to get in your own head. So I think, honestly, this is going to be the most valuable exhibition experience for these athletes if there is a judges conference, because it really is hard to keep your brain in a good space. So if they can do well in this situation, they can do even better in a regular competition setting with no judges conference. I really do believe that. Because it psychs you out a ton. You've done your mental prep, you've walked through your routine, you've done all your little rituals beforehand, and then you kind of get stopped. It's like icing the kicker if you're playing football. So hopefully that they are able to channel all of that and kind of take some extra deep breaths and be okay with it.
You will see that backwards roll from Bailey. It is required to do a backwards skill in your routine, so sometimes these athletes will put in those rolls if they don't have a backwards series or if they don't have any other backwards acro or their dismount is forward.
I commend her for getting up and doing her series that's so difficult right away when she hasn't been on the beam for too long. Oftentimes you kind of want to take a couple skills or dance steps to really settle in, but she really went for that series.
Was that Branny? It's important for Bailey to focus on just keep going on this routine, and I think that's exactly what she's doing. Moving past the mistake, moving on to the next skill. Gearing up for the dismount. Nicely done front full. That distance from the beam is a nice layout position and just that tiny little step.
As you've mentioned, Kelsey, seeing two Brannies in that beam lineup, those are a very, very difficult skill. Oftentimes you'll see athletes doing that kick front or either a front or side aerial for that front side requirement, even a side semi, but the Branny is a really, really hard skill because you're coming off of one leg and you're landing with two. There is no room for error. Looks like the Blugolds had a phenomenal floor rotation. That 47.725 kind of led off that opening score of a 9.65, and then we also see that 9.675. A lot of those scores are really, really respectable. Huge scores for the Blugolds.
Yes, and Simpson for beam. Not the strongest lineup that they're capable of putting together. See that 45.375, but their floor lineup is strong, and so hopefully in this next rotation they're able to kind of turn that around, leave beam behind, move on to floor.
Kelsey, can you speak on at all how it feels to be the home team and kind of get beam over with and move forward and be able to finish your meet with a floor party? How does that feel, and what is that different? What is it going to feel different when it's the Blugolds having to end on beam?
Yeah, I will say, kind of like we mentioned before, and you said, beam is that make or break event. So once it's over, right? You got to keep moving on no matter what happened. In this case, it'll be important for them to not dwell on the mistakes they made on beam and focus on what they're capable of doing on floor. But on the other hand, when you have a great beam rotation, it can make floor that much more exciting because you know how strong your lineup is. You just came off of a huge score on beam, and so it can just accelerate that excitement into their last event. And as for the Blugolds, they had an awesome floor lineup, so hopefully they're able to take that energy, take that momentum, carry it over to beam, and keep being aggressive to end on a good note for this meet.
Yeah, I think oftentimes too, you would think in this situation you'd get the short end of the stick by having to finish on beam, but this beam rotation is actually the strongest event for the Blugolds, which is a really hard thing to do. Oftentimes you see a ton of inconsistency, but they've seen consistent improvement in these beam lineup scores. So hopefully they're not feeling any type of way, and I really hope that Simpson's able to go to floor and celebrate those seniors the way that they deserve to be celebrated. One thing I think is really cool about Simpson, and I don't know if you can speak to this a little bit better, Kelsey, but I think it's really awesome that the entire men's team seems to be lining the floor and they support each other and they look like they're having a great time in there. Do those athletes practice together? Do they get to spend a lot of time together, or is that just for camaraderie? Where do you think that's coming from?
So these two teams are definitely very tight-knit. As you mentioned, you can kind of see them over there by that ring tower. They are always at the home meets, always showing their support, chest paint, signs, the whole 9 yards. So, and I know the girls support the men's team the same when they have their home meets, and so it's kind of cool to see. It's their sibling teams, sisters, brother teams, so they definitely enjoy it together, and I believe they do practice together, potentially similar times, but definitely in the same facility.
Yeah, I think that's really cool, especially with Simpson having to grow the program from the ground up. It's really awesome to have that community of athletes that understand the situation you're in. They support you and they want the best for you just as much as they would for themselves, and I think that's just really, really cool that they show up for each other like that. You don't see that a lot, especially with men's college gymnastics kind of dwindling in numbers. So it's awesome that Simpson is able to have both teams and always have that support, and it's great for men's gymnastics that they opened a men's program.
Yes, absolutely. And for those who don't know, the head men's coach is the women's coach husband. So Emily and Colin, they are married. They both started. They're both in their 4th year helping build this program together. So that is also, I believe, some of why these teams are so close-knit is because they just feel the chemistry. They just sense it.
And that's really cool. You don't get to see that opportunity often. Sometimes you see, a husband and a wife duo on the same coaching staff, but to grow their own teams as individuals is really, really cool, and they should be really proud of that. They've both done a great job. I might be biased, but I do think this is my favorite Simpson Leo I've seen so far. I know they debuted it earlier in the season, but I think it's just absolutely beautiful.
It is. It's very beautiful.
And this is the last 4-minute touch that we'll see these athletes get to be able to do. And again, it's not a full warm-up. It is a little bit frantic, trying to get everybody who needs to compete, especially when it comes to exhibitions, giving everybody enough time during this 4-minute touch, because usually you would practice it and you know who your beam team is or who your floor team is, and you kind of are a well-oiled machine. But when it comes to throwing people in there with the opportunity to do exhibitions, that is more people that have to warm up in the same amount of time. So just because you may have, 8 or 7 or whatever that may be warming up together, it doesn't give you any extra time. So those girls that are used to the 6 people that are always in that lineup warming up together, they now need to not rush, but cut things a little bit shorter to give the opportunity for everybody else to warm up as well.
We are going to see 8 routines from this floor lineup, and they are all seniors. So we talked about it is their senior night, and I know Emily and Kelsey were trying their very best to debut and exhibition and just get their seniors in as many routines as possible. So kind of cool to see that we're going to have an entire floor lineup of seniors.
Who's doing their choreography for these floor routines? Because Simpson does have a ton of fun floor routines. Who's in charge of that choreography and making sure that personality comes through?
Yes, so Emily and Kelsey and a few of the other girls on the team all share that responsibility. So yes, you will see a lot of personalities come out. They do have a lot of fun, and they have a lot of strong routines on this event.
As we're finishing the meet, one thing that we haven't touched on that I'm seeing the Blugolds do really well in this warm-up is making sure that your arms are being deliberate. Because if your arms are a little bit off, that is your center of balance, and it would tip you one way or the other. But as I'm watching them warm up, they're doing a really good job of making sure that they're putting their arms in a precise location so that there's no room for error. Oftentimes, you get your feet on and you forget that your arms could throw you off, but they seem to be doing a really, really good job of making sure that everything is in line and in the right place. I'm seeing a ton of difficulty in both of these teams as they warm up. I really do appreciate the level of difficulty they're adding in these routines. Oftentimes you can kind of overlook these Division III teams, but they're doing the skills that the Division I, Division II programs are doing, and they're executing nearly just as well. It's a little bit of a pain point when you see judges go into a competition of a Division III school that also may judge Division I programs, and just because of, the school that they're at or the leotard that they're wearing, they may not get rewarded for those skills, but these teams really should. They're doing a really awesome job.
Please take control of your competition now.
Wrapping up this 4-minute touch, getting ready for their last competitive event.
You can see both teams in those huddles there. Nat, what's a normal thing to be talking about in that huddle right before your last event in this competition?
Yeah, and I mean, these two teams are in completely different situations. So if I'm in that Blugolds huddle, I'm saying we've had a great meet so far. We've been doing phenomenal, and I think we need to capitalize on the fact that our beam team is great. Let's practice the way we compete, and let's be confident and consistent and trust each other, because trusting each other means a lot towards the end of a lineup. You want to make sure that those people are set up for success. And if I'm in that Simpson huddle, I'm saying, let's do our best to celebrate these seniors. We might have had a couple hiccups on beam, but we don't want to lose energy. We want to have fun. We want to continue to be able to appreciate the seniors and the time that they've put in and show them off. So hopefully they're telling those athletes to play into the crowd a little bit and enjoy themselves. It looks like there may be some lineup switching happening for the Simpson Storm. You see their coach out there potentially making some edits. That could be the cause for this holdup. And here comes Grace. We've seen her a ton tonight. She was a little bit short on that second pass on floor, so hopefully she didn't sting those ankles. That is a D-level skill as she mounts the beam, checking off that difficulty right away. I would imagine she's using that roll, as Kelsey said, for her forward side skill. It's a requirement in all beam routines. And you see that, like we were saying, those arms staying directly over the beam, that back handspring layout step out. She had no balance checks. Look for those 180s. Her connection was very, very smooth. I would like to see a little bit more of a degree in that split, but this routine is just phenomenal starting off. Does that gainer dismount and finds the stick. That is exactly the person you want to open up your lineup.
This is going to be Izzy Brown on the floor for Simpson. See that personality we mentioned before. This lineup is going to have a lot of fun in these routines, so definitely be on the lookout for that. front fold to a front layout, and looks like she just sticks it. Those legs were glued together. She knew exactly where her body was. That back tuck, kind of like we talked about on beam, a required backward skill, so she's definitely going to be tumbling forward in all of her passes, but still has to fulfill that backwards requirement. Gearing up for the last pass. Rudy to a split jump. Tiny little hop back, but same thing. She knows exactly where her body is, exactly where her feet are. And nicely done close to that routine. Has to feel good to hit that routine in the first spot at your senior night.
It looks like they're going to conference for Grace's score. I would imagine this would be a start value conversation because that routine did not have a lot of room for interpretation. It was beautiful. So when the judges flash their scores, they do need to have the same start value, or they need to be within 2/10 of each other. So if there's a discrepancy in either one of those two things, they need to come to a conclusion. Like she ended up with that 9.5. Great score to start this meet.
Up next on floor for Simpson, we are going to be taking our first look at Kaylee Bristow. She's done a really good job in this floor lineup all season.
Grace was able to take that pressure off the rest of the lineup, starting off with such a strong score and a hit routine. Every hit is going to make those people towards the end just feel a little bit better, a little less pressure.
And huge start for Simpson on floor, that 9.65 from Izzy. Very well done. So same thing. She's taken that pressure off the rest of the lineup, and now they know that they can just have fun and trust what they're doing.
And that score looks like it was changed to a 9.65 for Grace, so that could be what that conversation was about. She opened that beam routine with a series, not even a single balance check. And a cat leap front toss. Again, no balance checks there. She looks super strong and confident.
Rudy straddle for Kaylee to start off. Very well done. Nice high straddle jump. Got that Rudy all the way around.
Josie's capable of a 9.65 on beam. This routine has been going really well so far. Let's see if this can be her new season high. She finds that stick on a round off 1.5. That was phenomenal. What a great start.
Front layout from front fold for Kaylee. But I like what I've seen so far in these routines is they know exactly where their landings are. They know exactly where they are in the air. So hopefully we'll see another big score from Simpson on floor. So fun for these seniors.
We're still waiting for Josie's score, but that was a great routine. 2 back-to-back phenomenal routines for the Blugolds. Oh, and it looks like Grace's score was edited yet again. She went from a 9.5 to a 9.65, and now it's a 9.6. I'm not exactly sure what's happening over there with the judging, but hopefully they're looking into that.
And another well-deserved 9.65 for Simpson lineup on floor. That was from Kaylee Bristow.
Oh, and there she gets it. Josie gets her new season high of a 9.75. Good for her, well-deserved for that beautiful routine. Linnea, this is the first time we're seeing her this afternoon.
And this is going to be Bella Dix on floor. We saw her in the first event on vault with that souk full.
Did have a fall last week on beam, so it's going to be very important that she keeps that out of her head. So far, she's been rock solid in this routine, but sometimes things like that can get to you.
Bella, front double full, lands it so gracefully. You can really see in this lineup so far of these seniors just how experienced they are. They know what they're doing. They know exactly how to entertain the crowd, how to entertain their team, how to find their landing.
That descent with a small hop back, that was a gorgeous routine. She's actually gotten a 9.8 this season. I don't know if she'll quite hit that mark with that routine just because of that hop back on her landing, but that was a gorgeous routine. The Blugolds have been phenomenal on beam so far.
And Bella finishes up that floor routine. Now, these are back-to-back routines. Very well done so far, so definitely an exciting last event for both of these teams.
Yeah, no complaints for either team. They should be really happy with how things are going. And you can tell it's been a fun day, so I feel like they both, as individual teams, but together too, just want to finish off the day on a good note that they started it with. I love that they're still having fun and dancing over there. It looks like that first flasher sees a giant score for that Simpson forward team. Not the final, just one judge, but it's fun to see that.
Oh, looks like that 9.75 from Bella.
Good for them. Here comes Harit. And Harit is actually a beam specialist this season. We're coming off a 9.65 last week. Gorgeous by canceling layout step out. Being so precise with these landings on beam.
This is Annika Colt on floor. Another huge Rudy to straddle jump. Chest was just a tiny bit low on that straddle jump, but she still finds that landing. She is one of those powerhouse athletes. Very strong, very aggressive.
It did look like she was struggling with that Rudy straddle jump in warm-up, so I'm really glad that she was able to put that one in bounds and on her feet. It was a great routine from Harit. This lineup just keeps getting better. Absolutely no notes for the Blugolds on beam today.
Some unique dance from Annika. It looked like she might have stepped out of bounds on that second pass, so that will be a 10th deduction off of her final score. But so far doing really well, keeping up this momentum and energy that this lineup has.
And I'll reiterate that these girls towards the end of this beam lineup are feeling less and less pressure hit after hit when their teammates in front of them are just doing phenomenal beam routines. Very difficult leap pass. Did a good job trying to find that connection. Gearing up for a series. A back handspring step out, layout step out. She did a great job of making sure to place those arms to try to cover that balance check. A little break in the hip on that hitch kick side aerial, but really well connected. She's just emulating pure confidence up there. It looks like she's enjoying herself. And competing beam is a really hard task. It's hard to look like you're having fun up there, but she does. Step back on that dismount. And Sky's had a great day so far. She should be happy with how today went.
On floor, this is Brooklyn Morgan. After that, 9.575 from Annika. Huge double tuck. Just a few steps back on that landing, but very high and very well done. It's nice to see, kind of like we saw from Eau Claire, how aggressive these girls are being on these leaps. You know, Nat mentioned it before, but it can be difficult to tumble and then have the energy to do those leaps outside of your tumbling. So I like that they're being aggressive overall in the floor routines. And a very well done 1.5 punch front layout from Brooklyn. That was really clean. Stands it right up. And that's going to be another great routine for Simpson. It has to feel so energetic in that room right now. Eau Claire on beam and Simpson on floor, both just having hit routines back to back, and it has to make both of these coaches, Emily and Jessie, feel so proud of their teams and just looking forward to what else they're able to do for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I agree, and this is a really good benchmark for them too to reevaluate. Okay, we're in the middle of the season. How are we doing? Where are we at? And I would say after today, they're both going to be very satisfied with where their teams are. So the Blugolds already having a 190.5. That is going to be their season high. Regardless of how this last routine comes in, that is definitely going to be their season high by almost an entire point. If that's not enough to say they've had a great day, you could tell event after event with them doing those new season highs. So they're really, really joining that peak at the right time. Hopefully they have more in the tank for the rest of the season. The front back handspring, she kept her arms moving. Pike jump, you don't see those too often. That's a difficult jump because you lose sight of the beam.
And at 9.7 coming in from Brooklyn. And here is going to be our anchor, Kaelyn Tally. also very capable of putting up a massive score.
Finishing with the stick. The Blugolds have to be ecstatic with the way this beam rotation went.
I will say there is so much great gymnastics happening in this arena right now. It's hard to focus on one thing.
It really is.
It's the best feeling.
And they're still just having a ton of fun on floor. These girls are performers.
Layout front full. Knows exactly where that landing is.
He's really having a good time.
Ending with that storm. She's excited about that routine, as she should be. What an amazing lineup from this Simpson team on floor. Just a reminder that we will see 2 more exhibition routines.
That 190.925 just blew away their season high. Over a point, almost an entire point and a half. It's unique to see an athlete with a longer ponytail in competition. Oftentimes you would see them tuck it back to not get in their line of vision, but maybe she'll use it to her advantage with some artistry. A gorgeous series. At this point, these exhibitions could be phenomenal. At the end of the day, this beam lineup is probably so competitive. These girls look so confident. It's going to be really hard to break into it, but this routine right here might just be the one to do it.
You and I both know how good it feels when your whole beam lineup hits, so I can just only imagine how excited these girls are feeling right now after these phenomenal beam routines.
They're going to have an absolutely great bus ride home, that's for sure. No tension on that bus. In a great exhibition with the stuck landing, how do you pick? How could you possibly pick your top 6 with that talent on that team?
This is going to be Olivia short on floor. You will see Simpson score 189.1, so very, very close to that 190 that they got last weekend. And good to see that this team was able to take beam and kind of turn around and have a little floor party to end with another great home score.
It speaks a lot to the character of that team. They wanted to make sure they continued the rest of the meet and finished it well for those seniors, so I bet they understand how much it means to them, and it's really exciting that they were able to do that.
Olivia with a nicely done double tuck at the end of her routine. That is hard to do. You're fatigued at the end of your routine, and so to gear up the strength to do that double and find that landing so cleanly, really awesome for Olivia.
Gorgeous came in at a 9.6. Having your exhibition routine get a 9.6 speaks volumes to the depth that this team has. It's got to be impossible to put together these lineups week after week. It's okay to have a few mistakes in these exhibitions. These scores don't count. It's just really, really good experience. That side skill, the side aerial. Just a bit off and a bend in her hips. Let's see how she finishes this routine. We're going to show a ton of her character and her willingness to make that way into the lineup. She does her aerial again as part of her series into a side semi, 2 very difficult skills. And with those skills, you don't have time for adjustments. Your feet are barely on the beam. Never mind, your hands don't even touch it. So it's really, really hard to do those double salto connections on beam. Great full turn. She still has that confidence that she mounted the beam with. Let's see how she finishes up. A unique gainer full off of the front. I like that dismount a lot, and she does it really, really well. And they're just so excited, as they should be.
This is our last exhibition on floor. Bailey Tessina, we've seen her a few times tonight.
The final routine of the day.
Ready to front layout. Maybe a tiny bit short, but she recovers really well on that landing. Full front layout. That second pass. Showing off that personality a little bit. That lone backwards acro skill. You can hear a lot of energy still in the building.
Doing 3 passes is so unique right now.
It is, and she does it very well. Good job to Bailey and to both these teams.
We saw a ton of fun gymnastics. We saw major energy on every event, and we saw a lot of new records, new season highs, maybe career highs. The seniors got to enjoy themselves. It felt like a day of celebration, as it should be. That beam lineup, the 48.575, that 9.8 incredible score, 9.775 and a 9.75. Great beam scores.
And over to Simpson on the floor, that 48.55. So just an overall really, really exciting rotation for both of these teams. You see Kaelyn Tally with that 9.85 and then 9.75 and then a 9.7. So huge scores from both of these teams and very well done on their last event too.
Yeah, what a way to end that meet. Super competitive, high energy, great gymnastics in that last rotation. And as we said earlier, these teams, as you can see here, are very evenly matched teams. Simpson did have a couple hiccups today, but very evenly matched teams.
That vault leaderboard, Kaelyn Tally from Simpson is going to come in first with that 9.8. Kendall Pinkelman from Simpson, 9.7. And then in third, tied for second, Cadence Cordova from Eau Claire with that 9.7. For our bars, you're going to see Cadence Cordova from Eau Claire, 9.725 in first place. Liz Sisler from Simpson with 9.675. And then Evalyn Resnick in third from Simpson, that 9.525. On balance beam, you just saw this routine. Meghan Dahlin, 9.8 from Eau Claire. And it looks like Eau Claire takes the leaderboard on beam. Very well done. We see Harit, 9.775 in second, and then Josie, 9.75 in third. Floor exercise, Kaelyn Tally from Simpson, 9.8. Bella in second from Simpson, 9.75. And Brooklyn Morgan from Simpson, 9.7 in third. And there were no all-arounders in this event today. A lot of event specialists, which I think is very unique to both of these teams. Overall, very great job from both of these teams.
Definitely fun to watch, lots of great gymnastics. It's not surprising that there's no all-arounders, but it was really, really great to see those individual specialists.
And we can see those total team scores. Simpson in second with a 189.1, and Wisconsin Eau Claire in first place with that 199.25. Massive score for them, like Nat mentioned before, a season high. So definitely looking forward to what both of these teams are able to do in the rest of the season. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
That's right. But I was on. Right here, Brooklyn City.
She probably wants me to get Birdie.
And she said, "Where's my dad?" Oh, Birdie? Dad. Oh, she is going to go to play school. Oh, great. That's she's just going. Hurry up and play.
She has to do some recruiting stuff. She has to go some other things for like recruiting. They keep her. I mean, they also get to go to the city or good places.
Oh, so she likes to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I was surprised when I came and I'm like, that girl looks just like
Yeah, it's
Brooklyn's like, Grandma, it is. And I'm like, what is she doing here?
I know. Yeah, so it's
Oh,
kind of
I'm
nice
so glad
that she got to finish out the year with
Oh my gosh, some fun school. I am so happy.
Is everything after you guys don't know if there's anything after. Like I think like these
The senior stuff is that out.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh, that's because you're not supposed to know. Nobody's supposed to. Seniors aren't supposed to know anything.
It's been a busy year. It's been a busy year. Because wasn't it our she's the reason I had to do.
Your attention fans, we're going to be doing awards here soon, but if you are a part of Senior Day, which will be coming up right after the conclusion of the award ceremony, please make your way over to the near the far side of the floor, directly left of the bleachers.
It's so dark in here.
All right. Good to be busy.
Thank you.
Here are the final results for today's meet. Tied for second place on vault with a score of 9.7 for the Blugolds, Cadence Cordova, and for the Storm, Kendall Pimpleman. And in first place on vault with a score of 9.8 for the Storm, Kaelyn Tally. In third place on bars with a score of 9.525 for the Storm, Evalyn Resnick. In second place with a score of 9.675 for the Storm, Liz Sisler. In first place on bars with a score of 9.725 for the Blugolds, Cadence Cordova. In third place on beam with a score of 9.75 for the Blugolds, Josie Armitz. In second place with a score of 9.775 for the Blugolds, Harriet Jalon. And first place on beam with a score of 9.8 for the Blugolds, Meghan, Dahlin. In third place on floor with a score of 9.7 for the Storm, Brooklyn Morgan. In second place with a score of 9.75 for the Storm, Bella Dix. First place on floor with a score of 9.775 for the Storm, Kaelyn Tally. Today's all-around champion with a score of 27.8 for the Blugolds, Grace Gerster. And the final team scores are as follows. In second place with a total score of 189.1, your Simpson Storm. Today with a score of 190.925, the Blugolds.
The head coach here was at Nebraska.
She was there. She read it. He's got so far. And then I can give them that if you want to the flowers.
Dude, I've been out in the hall with her husband for most of the meet. Take care of their little 3-month-old. And
Yeah. We think we're really quick. I'm so sorry. Yes, we'll do it after.
All right, if you're a senior, you guys can go find your people, alphabetical order.
I think she needs to come over here.
All right. Hello, everyone.
You gonna be able to,
I just
Dad?
wanted to say thank you guys for being here for another historic night for Simpson Women's Gymnastics. Today we are celebrating and honoring the accomplishments of our first full class of seniors. Our 12 seniors that we are honoring today were members of our inaugural Team 1 class in 2022-2023. And now they are in their last year with this program and at our school. So these ladies committed to Simpson when we had nothing but a dream and a vision. We literally had nothing. There have been countless obstacles to overcome and adversity that they have faced, but so many triumphs as well. We have broken every event and team record multiple times throughout the last 4 years. But most importantly, these ladies have been at the forefront of the creation of our culture, our team values, and what it means to be a Simpson gymnast. They exhibit these values daily and have helped lead and shape our team into what it is today. They have had no one to follow and therefore have been the true pioneers for our program. We are so proud of all of them, and now we will honor them one by one. Our first senior is Kaylee Bristow. Kaylee is accompanied by Mom Lisa, Dad Dahlin, boyfriend Jackson, and is brothers Ryan and Drew and her sister Ashley. KB is from Sisler, New York, and currently trains beam and floor. She holds career highs of 8.65 on beam and 9.65 on floor that she just got today. She'll be graduating in May with a degree in health and exercise science on the pre-nursing track and a minor in biology. As soon as she graduates, literally 2 days later, KB will start the accelerated nursing program at Mercy College in Des Moines, followed by anesthesia school. KB is described by her teammates as kind, empathetic, and driven. KB, thank you for being a crucial part of Simpson Women's Gymnastics. We are so proud of you. Our next senior is Izzy Brown. Izzy is accompanied by her mom, Lori, dad, Nathan, brothers Ian and Zeke, sister Hannah, boyfriend Aiden, and advisor Daryl Sasser. Izzy is from Omaha, Nebraska, and currently trains bars, beam, and floor. She holds career highs of 9.425 on vault, 9.275 on bars, 9.675 on beam, 9.675 on floor, and 34.875 in the all-around. She will be graduating in December with degrees in history and secondary education. Izzy's goal is to become a high school history teacher back home while getting her master's degree. Izzy is described by her teammates as motivated, thoughtful, and bubbly. Izzy, thank you for being a crucial part of Simpson Women's Gymnastics. We are so proud of you. Our next senior is Annika Cole. Annika is accompanied by her dad, Brad, mom, Nicole, and Simpson Sports Performance staff members Sam Schmitz and Matt Costenson Segura. AK is from Cameron Park, California, and currently trains beam and floor. Prior to this year, she was also an integral part of our bar lineup before a shoulder injury prevented her from continuing to train the event. She holds career highs of 9.075 on bars and 9.775 on floor. She will be graduating in May with a degree in health and exercise science and a minor in psychology. Annika is currently the head undergraduate assistant in the weight room and will be continuing her pathway in sports performance. She is planning to get her master's degree in exercise physiology while also being a graduate assistant. AK is described by her teammates as tenacious, outgoing, and responsible. Annika, thank you for being a crucial part of Simpson Women's Gymnastics. We are so proud of you. Our next senior is Avril Preston. Avril is accompanied by her mom, Jennifer, and her sister, Ava. Avril is originally from Murrieta, California, and currently trains bars and beam. She holds career highs of 9.075 on vault, 9.25 on bars today, and 9.325 on beam. Avril will be graduating in May with a degree in psychology. After graduation, she is planning to work in social services while spending a lot of time cuddling her dog, Snowball. Avril is described by her teammates as goofy, lighthearted, and dependable. Avril, thank you for being a crucial part of Simpson Women's Gymnastics. We are so proud of you. Our next senior is Bella Dix. Bella is accompanied by her mom, Jackie, dad, David, and advisor, Aaron Santos. Bella is from Naperville, Illinois, and currently trains all 4 events. She holds career highs of 9.575 on vault, 8.85 on bars, 9.475 on beam, 9.8 on floor, and 37.2 in the all-around. Bella will be graduating in May with a degree in physics and a minor in math. After graduation, she is planning to go to graduate school and apply for big girl jobs. Bella is described by her teammates as joyful, spunky, and committed. Bella, thank you for being a crucial part of Simpson Women's Gymnastics. We are so proud of you. Our next senior is Brooklyn Morgan. Brooklyn is accompanied by her mom, Ashley, dad, Tim, boyfriend, Dalton, and mentor and professor, Taylor Vargo. Brooklyn is from Norman, Oklahoma, and currently trains vault, beam, and floor. She holds career highs of 9.5 on vault, 8.45 on bars, 9.725 on beam, and 9.775 on floor. Brooklyn will be graduating in May with degrees in neuroscience and psychology and a minor in coaching. After graduation, she will be enrolling in the Sport and Exercise Psychology Master's Program at Springfield College. Brooklyn is described by her teammates as compassionate, dedicated, and a leader. Brooklyn, thank you for being a crucial part of Simpson Women's Gymnastics. We're so proud of you. Pause for 1 second. Good job, Millie. Thank you. Our next senior is Sydney Millette. Sydney is accompanied by her mom, Joyce, and dad, Ryan. Sydney is from Andover, Connecticut, and currently trains bars and beam. She will be graduating in May with a degree in health and exercise science and a minor in psychology. After graduation, Sydney will be enrolling in graduate school for physical therapy. She is described by her teammates as thoughtful, resilient, and optimistic. Sydney, thank you for being a crucial part of Simpson Women's Gymnastics. We're so proud of you. Our next senior is Winter Pula. Winter is accompanied by her dad, Ron, brother, Marty, best friend, Grace, and athletic trainer, Brady DeYoung, and advisor, Cal Busby. Winter is from Norman, Oklahoma, and currently trains vault, bars, and floor. She holds career highs of 9.65 on vault and 9.15 on bars. Winter will be graduating in May with a degree in health and exercise science and a minor in coaching. After graduation, she will be attending physical therapy assistant school, most likely in Oklahoma. Winter is described by her teammates as supportive, loyal, and personable. Winter, thank you for being a crucial part of Simpson Women's Gymnastics. We are so proud of you. Our next senior is Olivia Short. Liv is accompanied by her mom, Nancy, dad, Tim, brothers, Ryan and Justin, sister-in-law, Britta, niece, Lenora, and nephew, Roland. Liv is from Indianapolis, Indiana, and currently trains beam and floor. She holds career highs of 9.55 on beam and 8.35 on floor. Liv will be graduating in May with a degree in health and exercise science and a minor in biology. After graduation, she will be applying to graduate programs within the healthcare field. Liv is described by her teammates as sweet, hardworking, and calm. Liv, thank you for being a crucial part of Simpson Women's Gymnastics. We're so proud of you. Our next senior is Kaelyn Tally. Kay is accompanied by her mom, Melissa, dad, Brad, grandma, Linda, club coach, Casey, and club gym owner, Lisa. Kay is from Grants Pass, Oregon, and currently trains vault and floor. She holds career highs of 9.8 on vaults, which is also the school record, and 9.775 on floor. 9.8. 9.8 on floor? Oh, 9.8 on floor. Kay will be graduating in May with degrees in business management and marketing communications. After graduation, she will be getting a job in marketing and/or public relations. Kay is described by her teammates as passionate, warm-hearted, and a leader. Kay, thank you for being a crucial part of Simpson Women's Gymnastics. We are so proud of you. Our next senior is Bailey Tessina. Bailey is accompanied by her mom, Stacy, dad, Bruce, boyfriend, Sterling, and brother, Cole. Bailey is from Medina, Ohio, and currently trains vault, beam, and floor. She holds career highs of 9.55 on vault, 9.65 on beam, and 9.5 on floor. Bailey will be graduating in December with a degree in physical education. After graduation, she will be applying to graduate school for occupational therapy. Bailey is described by her teammates as gentle, disciplined, and encouraging. Bailey, thank you for being a crucial part of Simpson Women's Gymnastics. We are so proud of you. Our 12th and last senior is Emma Tolberg. Emma is accompanied by her mom, Misha, dad, Justin, sister, Aubrey, boyfriend, Landon, assistant athletic director, Tara Riemeyer, and former athletic director, Marty Bell. Emma is from Sand Springs, Oklahoma, and prior to her ACL injury, trained vault, beam, and floor. She holds career highs of 9.625 on vault, 9.5 on beam, and 9.825 on floor, which is also the school record. Emma will be graduating in May with a degree in health and exercise science and a minor in coaching. After graduation, she will be going to PA school and coaching gymnastics. Emma is described by her teammates as resilient, dedicated, and supportive. Emma, thank you for being a crucial part of Simpson Women's Gymnastics. We are so proud of you. And lastly, I just want to stress the importance of this class and just what they've done for this school. We've grown so much over the past 4 years, and it's all due to these 12 ladies who came in and just, jumped in head first, feet first, whatever first, and trusted the process and helped us continue to grow every single year. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much. I'm super, super proud of you, and let's give it up for Simpson Women's Gymnastics class of 2026, C1. Coaches, go to the floor, I guess.
Perfect.